Thank you, Senator, for taking the time with us today for the readers and watchers at graniterock.com, one of the hopefully premier blog sites in the state of New Hampshire. And just a couple of questions. Earlier, when you met with the Blue Star Mothers, the Peace people, and the other military families, you indicated that most people in the country agree with the notion of not revealing a deadline.
Well, I think if you announce the date that you're going to begin removing troops and the date that you're ending the removal of troops to your enemies, militia groups and Al-Qaeda insurgents, it's irresponsible. You're going to make it easier for them to gain their attacks against our military, and it's just an unwise choice.
And certainly I agree with that. Now, keeping that in mind, I would contend that deep down inside, most Americans really believe we need to win the war.
I think people want us to ensure that we don't have regional conflict. We don't want the fighting between Sunnis and Shia to spill over to other countries. Certainly don't want Iran's influence to be dramatically increased in places like Lebanon or the Palestinian territories. There are conflicts, historic conflicts between the Kurdish and the northern part of Iraq and Turkey. I mean, there really are a lot of regional pressures, and a chaotic situation is only going to inflame those pressures and result in the United States or our allies having to deal with the situation militarily, diplomatically, economically, whether it's 5 years from now or 15 years from now. We don't want to leave those problems to future generations.
So you would define victory as stability in the region?
Look, I don't think we should focus on victory as much as we should focus on a stable situation where we can bring our combat troops home. And what that will require is the Iraqi government to step up, to take steps that only they can take. Share money from the oil revenues fairly across the country. They've got to hold local elections. They've committed to doing it at the end of the year. They've got to hold their feet to the fire. They have to deploy their own army forces across the country. Only the Iraqi government can do those things. When I met with our military commanders a month ago, they made that very point, that the situation wasn't going to be decided militarily, but it would be decided by the Iraqi government stepping forward and taking action. And what we can do with our U.S. and coalition forces is create an environment where the Iraqi government can and will act.
So we're going to create an incubator, if you will, for them to be able to have the time they need to form a stable government and create a society that is more conducive to people working for a living than practicing jihad.
In Baghdad especially, that stability and security is critical. It's a city of 7 million people, and the vast majority of them are just focused on daily life, security for their family, working, getting a paycheck, and what the Iraqi forces, army forces, police forces, and coalition forces are trying to do is on a neighborhood-by-neighborhood basis, set up a joint operating center where they work day after day after day, build confidence in that neighborhood, improve the security, and that creates a much better environment, not just for Iraqi families and Iraqi society, but for the government to act as well.
Now, bringing it back here to the home front, I'm wondering if you believe, as I do, that if we, no matter what success we have in Baghdad or in Iraq or in the area, if we don't maintain the support of the people here at home, because we are a democratic nation, and history tells us democracies cannot win wars where the people have no support. Do you agree with the leadership role that someone like a Senator McCain has taken in not only just the fact that he's running for president, but the fact that he's providing, in my opinion, some very vital leadership for the people to understand that we have to stay firm here on the home front?
Well, it's important that politicians, leaders at every level, make it unequivocal that we're supporting the men and women serving overseas. They're patriots, they're sacrificing, they're committed to this effort. The New Hampshire soldiers and all the soldiers I visited with in Baghdad and Fallujah, they knew what their job was, they knew what their mission was, they knew what was improving, what wasn't improving on the ground, but they also knew that they needed support through the spending bills that we're working on in Congress for equipment, for ammunition, for logistics, to do their job. And when they hear about the partisan political debates back home slowing that legislation down, or they hear about pork barrel projects for spinach farmers or for avocados getting put on a national security bill, I think they find that very frustrating. They need that support, and funding to help them do their job should not be held hostage to partisan politics or pork barrel spending. That is really outrageous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So.